Hi guys, this is Jaco here from Itensity, and I'm sitting with the two owners of Fitbar. So Rechelle, she's much better looking than I am, okay? And Charles here to my right. So looking at there, just to give you a brief introduction, Charles has been in the industry for 27 years. Started with personal training.
At all dates, moved out, started, set up my own gyms. I've set up 4 gyms, of which 3 are still going. And this is our latest flagship.
Okay, cool. And Rechelle, you are a professional show jumper.
Yes.
And that is, give us a little bit of, what that entails.
Well, since young, I've always ridden horses. I've always done show jumping, which is the sport I'm most passionate about. Often, on long weekends, I'm always away competing. It's just as much as any training, you've got to train your horses every single day. So I've always loved, and obviously for show jumping, you've got to stay fit, which is why I decided to get involved in having a gym with Charles, because I do love the fitness industry as well.
And as I know that this started, you the brainchild, or the concept started with you with Fitbar.
Yeah, so the opportunity came about where we could have Fitbar, and I decided that I've never had this sort of opportunity. I've never owned a gym before, and that's when we decided to locate a partner to come and run Fitbar with us, and that's why Charles is part of Fitbar.
Also, not a bad decision.
No,
looking at 27
amazing.
years, and 5 gyms where 3 is still running, that you normally don't see. Okay, so then the concept started, and we'll talk a little bit later about partnerships, because it's amazing how I've dealt with people before, and our key partnerships, where we've seen great success with key partners. So we'll dive into that a little bit later. So let's give us if you take where you started, give us some background on Fitbar, where it started, the concept. Give us a little bit of detail on how that came about. Or let's start, because we've got actually 2 different stories. We've got your story and your story. So let's start with the one.
Okay, so I'll start with mine. Basically, this development, as you can see behind me, is a bit of an oasis, a wonderful place to stay. And I always had my own, maybe one day, having a gym in the setup. So fortunately, I've got a couple of my clients who in the mix, and who managed to put in a good word for me, and which I'm very fortunate with. And basically, I approached Rechelle's partner Tim, and together we came up with this idea of Fitbar.
Okay, cool. And Rechelle, how did it started for you?
Similar to what Charles is saying, we had the opportunity to have the gym here at the hotel, the Houghton Hotel, which is more than just any hotel. I mean, it's got loads of amazing amenities to it. We've got an amazing spa, Amani Spa, which is right next door to Fitbar. But basically how Fitbar came about, in fact, it's a funny story, the name Fitbar. Charles's wife, Lisa, and myself, we spent many weeks contemplating on all sorts of different names until we eventually, with our marketing team, came up with the name Fitbar. And obviously the logo and the design and everything. So my husband, being involved in the development, Tim, he gave Charles and I this amazing opportunity to carry on with doing our own thing. But also just the whole thing around Fitbar is Charles and I actually want to grow it. We don't just want to have it here at the Houghton, we want to have it in Tim's other developments as well. His next big one is Ellipse in Waterfall. And once that's up and built, should be in about a year and a half to 2 years from now, we'll open our next Fitbar, hopefully there.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So that is exciting. If you take now, you guys being now entrepreneurs, working in this, being trainers as well, with your, you've got, for those who do not know, Charles has got 2 other gyms as well. That is CrossFit Kaboom, and the other one?
It's called Urban Fitness.
Okay, Urban Fitness. So how does your typical day look? Let's start with you. What does your typical day look like?
Well, I'm up at around about 3:30 a.m. I usually train beforehand. At home, I've got a little setup at home. And then I venture off to my first clients around 5 a.m. Start 5 a.m., work right through till 11 a.m., go for a quick bite, back here at 12, start my afternoon session at 3 again, and then up till about 7:30.
And then you sleep between like half an hour to 45 minutes every
It
night.
doesn't take me long to get to bed at night. 9 o'clock till about 3 o'clock I start wrestling, start waking up and ready for the next day. But I'm a heavy sleeper, so 6 hours for me is more than enough.
You're lucky.
It's more than Rechelle's has got new kids, she's just had kids.
Now ours is on its way.
What's that?
End of August.
Yours.
Ah, congrats.
Little boy. Yeah, so
you're going to get into the mix.
Yes.
I'm out of the woods, thank goodness. I'm out of the woods.
And what does your typical day look like?
So, like Charles just said, I've got 2 little ones, a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old. So they keep me very, very busy and up most nights. So my typical day is wake up in the morning, sort out the kids, and then try and get to gym at 7 o'clock and try gym from 7 to 8 myself with my personal trainer, or I like to do a skill athletic class, which are the group functional training classes that we offer here at Fitbar.
Okay.
After that, I go home, I shower, I go ride my horses. And after I've ridden my horses, fetch the kids or spend some time with the kids and try to get back to the gym to do some admin or marketing or try to get some work done, yeah. And then I like to spend late afternoons and obviously evenings at home with my family.
Okay, cool. So looking at this whole project or this whole endeavor that you did with Fitbar, if you say life lesson, most profound life lessons you've learned in the last few months opening Fitbar, what would that be?
I would say basically once you decide on something, you just put your head down and you go for it. You can't and you got to trust people around you and you got to trust yourself. So once you decide on something, you've got to put full steam ahead. And we're still in the formative phase now. We only opened about 7 weeks ago. So it's all new to us. But you know what? I just feel that if you surround yourself with positive people, number one, and number two, people who do us, things will happen. And this is why I have no doubt that this will be a success.
Definitely. And hard work pays off. So as long as we keep pushing and we keep working hard, it's going to pay off.
It's not easy.
It's only been 6 weeks, but I feel like Fitbar's grown and we're doing very well. So we're excited for the future.
And it's amazing if you say that, and I say this to everybody, you don't always get the opportunity to be an entrepreneur. But you always have the opportunity to fall back to some kind of job or, find something else or be a trainer somewhere. But you don't always have the opportunity. So I always say to people is if you get the opportunity, take it. Just take it. Don't hesitate, take it. Do wise planning, but take the opportunity. Don't worry about being, a little bit bootstrapped for a little while.
Also, it's a lot of responsibility.
Yes.
A lot of responsibility. So if you can handle that, you're 90% there.
Okay, cool. So now I want to get into Fitbar and the business that you've got here. So I know that one of the new concepts that Fitbar is launching, that you guys are launching the first I believe it's first in South Africa.
Yeah,
Skill athletics.
First in
Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's rather not say the rest of Africa, but okay.
First in South Africa, yeah.
Okay, so it says that the rest of Africa it's a little bit behind. So if it's a first in South Africa, it's most probably first in Africa. So taking that skill athletics, quickly go around, basically the concept of skill athletics and how did you get to that, of choosing, this as a niche for this business or this gym.
So we always wanted to do something like group functional training classes. And actually, Tony Payne from Technogym, he brought us the concept of skill athletic, and he's actually our partner in skill athletic. And he said that he thinks it's an amazing new concept. It runs amazing overseas, and he'd love to bring it to South Africa. Why don't we do it together? Why don't we do it here? Charles and I loved the idea, and that's how skill athletic came about.
Okay, cool. And Charles, being the owner of CrossFit Kaboom, as well as now this part, how would you say, we had a little bit of a conversation, a chat about this earlier, being to both as group classes, both as in the high intensity range, what would you say if you need to compare the two with one another, how does that compare to something else, It's like CrossFit.
look, basically the two, although they share similar characteristics, as you know, CrossFit is very intense. It appeals to a certain niche elite athlete.
Yeah.
What we're appealing to here is the person who wants to exercise, wants to have more of a pleasurable experience, and just in terms of not leaving the workout feeling like they're absolutely hammered, which unfortunately, and that's the thing with CrossFit is you walk out of that and you for the next few days you actually feel that you can't move. It's some people enjoy it, others don't, but we're basically appealing to those the other maybe 20-30% who fall under the elite athletes, because at the end of the day, I mean, we're all here to serve a purpose, and we realize that the CrossFit world, although it's fantastic, it does have certain limitations in terms of what people are able to do in a class. We just feel that with Skill Athletic, we're offering them more options.
Before we continue, I just want to move the mic closer. Okay, just like that, and it's right here in my face. So the reason why I asked this is because I want people to understand that it's not the one is wrong over the other one, or the one is better than the other one. But I've seen businesses fail because they do not decide. Okay, let's for example, we've got this area. Okay, this is in the Hilton Hotel. You sit with a different class, but now I open something completely different that's not catered for this market. And you're most probably going to fail. Yes, maybe you're an avid CrossFitter, but then don't decide to do something here just because you are so inclined to a certain modality. Then rather seek a different location or a different area where you can do something like that. So I don't know if you agree, because you have both CrossFit and Fitbar, is that the decision you need to make to cater to the market you're at.
Look, Yaki, one thing you must remember is we're based in the Hilton development. There are 340 units here. We looked at the demographics of people that we'd want to cater for using Skill Athletic,
yes,
and that is our focus as well.
Yeah.
So we've got a niche market here that we'd like to service, and that's why we set up Skill Athletic.
And that's key. And you guys did, you put your business caps on and not your trainer caps. You understand? And that's, I think it's a key thing that a lot of young fitness entrepreneurs are missing. They've got huge passion for fitness, but they don't look at the business. They don't look at, like you said, when this was still an open space, you most probably said, okay, cool. What fitness program can cater this market? And then you met with Tony and you met with different people, and with your CrossFit background, you realize maybe CrossFit is not the ideal place here. Let's look at something different. With this higher LSM market, is personal training a huge part of this type of market?
Absolutely.
We have 7 personal trainers, and most of our personal trainers have quite a few clients in the mornings and afternoons. Obviously, a lot of the residents that stay here, once they saw the gym and started, being a member here, an active member, a lot of our personal trainers got clients. So it's been very good from that point of view.
So basically, to give the audience out there idea, so you've got Skill Athletic, that's a group training class. Then you've got the gym underneath. That's a normal gym. You've got a swimming pool, and then you've got this whole nice outside area. So
we also do Pilates, yoga, and spinning, and then in the pool we do water aerobics.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
A key thing that I know that not all all business owners think the same. I'm pro diversify your product offering.
Yes.
I'm pro that, because then you rather lose a client to a different program to a different gym.
Yes, definitely.
So I'm pro that, but it all depends on what type of business owner you are. I don't know. You've dealt with a few CrossFit guys.
I have. Look, I mean, it's people get set in their ways, but like you say, if you can diversify and offer, give your member, give them options. I mean, the chance of them staying with you is far greater. So it would definitely be the way to go. I just think long term, also, the more scope you give somebody in terms of offerings, the better off you'll be. Definitely.
Okay, cool. So. staying with Fitbar, and when you decided, so now you're sitting. So firstly, the first thing is most probably you got the location. So now we need to decide. There's a lot of decisions that need to come within, having the location, like we said, market, those kind of things. How did you decide on, when having the location, looking at the brand, the market, especially the brand, the look, the feel? How did you guys came to that decision? Because I think that's a key thing that people need to learn, is how to get to those decisions and not just make a decision. How did you guys decide on all the things that we see in here?
It was a team effort, definitely. I mean, we sat in numerous meetings before this opened up, from graphic designers helping us with the logo to experienced people in the industry telling us what equipment's best to have in our gym. But mostly, it came a lot of experience from what Charles has had in the past.
We looked at our space, what we got offered. We knew this was where the gym is going to be, and then we started allocating and looking at the way that you can make your space best work for you. And that's ultimately where we come up with all this, with all the equipment.
So basically, you thought of the modalities or the I don't know if modalities is the right word, but you thought of, the product you want to give after looking at location, not product first, location later.
No, after location.
After location. Yeah. I think that's a key.
You can't. You got to see what you've been.
What you've been given.
You got to give. You have to, and then from there you decide. And you look at your space and
And then the other way around, if you have a product, for example, let's say CrossFit or yoga, then you go look for a place that fits that model.
Right. And as you know, CrossFit's a very. You need a specific kind of almost like an industrial setup. That works best because you need high ceilings, and it doesn't have to be as extravagant, for instance, as Fitbar is. But certain locations also you want. Rent is a big factor. You don't want your overheads to be too high initially, especially when you're starting a business. It's a big thing.
And would you say, when you got the opportunity with this location, because it's and I always say to people, is find a niche in the industry. If it's location, if it's product, something, because this is a huge niche, because he's sitting with a untapped market within the Houghton, the Houghton Hotel and the Houghton Estate. So, looking at that, how would you say, any advice would you give any young entrepreneur, when deciding?
I tell them to do their homework. Look at the demographics. Look at what's around you also in terms of competition. And then see and look at your, do your numbers and make sure that you've also got a bit of advice and people you trust to give you advice, and just don't rush into anything, but just make sure that you on top of things all the time.
How did there's a huge Virgin Active right behind here. I don't know, I'm a bit lost here, but somewhere, yeah. Okay, how did that influence your decision of the product and service that you are bringing to this gym?
Well, I think we just decided that we wanted to be it's not the same product. We're more of an exclusive gym. We're not competing at all with Virgin Active. That's a much bigger gym, much more commercial gym. They've got thousands and thousands of members. It's not at all what we want for Fitbar. We want to keep it exclusive. It's a full offering, for a member, from being welcomed in at the hotel to your full service sharing, whether you're doing a skill athletic class or whether you're doing a one-on-one personal training class, to getting your smoothie or drink, to lying at the pool, to going for a massage, to using the hotel, to using the sauna or steam room. It's a full package. It's all about the experience here, in comparison to just going into a normal gym. There are some people that obviously like that, and that's great. It's a different offering.
And that's key what you said there. It's a different offering. Yeah. You don't go and compete against someone like that. You can't.
They're too entrenched in the market,
So getting back to the thing that you said, do your due diligence. Yeah. Do your homework and then decide what you want to do.
Yeah. And find somebody in the industry with experience. I think if it's a young entrepreneur that's wanting to start something, it's hard to do something on your own. You need somebody with you that's experienced.
Yes.
Makes big decisions. It's important.
And you talk about experience, and so you're sitting with a partnership here. You two in this partnership, and your husband is also part of. I believe he's
no,
he's not directly involved with.
No, Fitbar is Charles and myself.
Okay, so
Tim brought it to us.
He brought the opportunity.
He brought the opportunity to us, but no, it's Charles and my.
So looking at the partnership, we all know that there's work and and there's certain things that we need to do in a partnership. So go through, what would you say is key things that you guys are doing together to protect this relationship that you have, because that's key. We want to build this for many years. You guys want to open up a few Fitbars. So how do you protect this relationship? How do you protect, let's take responsibilities, decision making, that kind. So go through that process of how you protect your relationship with one another.
On the way, I mean, when Rechelle and I first met, obviously we got to know each other. However, I mean, I picked up on her strengths, and she picked up on my strengths. And then what has happened is, as you go along, and this is the thing with partnerships, is that you can trust your partner to handle certain aspects of the business. And that's where I think we work well, because, Rechelle has a very, very keen sense for social media, that kind of thing. She's, she's got a strong following, and, just in terms of our focus more on the managerial side to a point. But you know what, whatever task we give each other, we are in full knowledge that that person will handle it perfectly, which alleviates a lot of stress from our side, from each person's side.
Okay, cool. And
we do have a meeting once a week where we strategize exactly what we've got planned for each other for that week, and then
cool.
And even a staff meeting and an admin meeting as well.
That's key. What you said is there's structured communication between you as partners. Structured communication. Yes, we do have coffees with one another and have lunch and talk about things all the time. Yeah. But there's structured communication. I think that's key with partnership as well.
Where even if there's problems, you discuss the problems so that you can move forwards, whatever it may be. Because there's always going to be things in a business.
When we've got issues, we bring it up, we highlight the issues, and then we tackle the issues. That's the only way. Yeah. Because if nobody says anything, then it just manifests. And things will then, it's not productive to anybody. It's not productive for the business at all.
And if you take your partnership with one another, how do you deal with disagreements? Because let's say, for instance, you have a few your responsibilities and your responsibilities, and there's slight disagreements between, let's say, strategize or directions. How do you deal with those?
We've been actually quite lucky in the sense up until now that I think Charles and I, in terms of a business, we think a lot alike. Like when we have an issue, we mostly actually agree with each other when it comes to an issue, and we work forwards and we work through it. And so far, so good. I mean, I think that if there was ever an issue where we both disagreed with each other, then we would obviously have a way to get an agreement out of it. But no, so far it's...
Fortunately, we haven't reached that point yet.
Yeah, so far so good.
So with our partnership that I've got with my partners is, so what we've done, in our partnerships is, I've got certain responsibilities, and if that disagreement lies more into my responsibilities, they need to accept my lead. Let's say, for instance, with the technical stuff that I've got my partner Jaco and Charles, if it leans towards that, then I need to accept their, 100%. That's the way we deal with it. And I think most probably it's going to work the same. So because you're the training side and you will deal with that stuff. So because of the experience. And that's something that partners also need to understand, that give each other room.
Definitely.
But you also, you got to trust your partner, but it comes with time.
Yes.
Once you get to know each other, same in your business, over time, you've picked up that this person's strengths lie in this field, and when something leans towards it, you let them run with it, because they'll do a good job.
Yeah.
It's
trust is key.
Yeah, it is.
But trust is key. Not given.
That's it. No, absolutely. But it's you know what, you need to have a good trust base. And things will just develop from there. It's just positive for the business. And
trust, I've seen in certain areas that if you take long-term, trust, then you can, there's certain risks that you can hand over to someone else, except like, for instance, your partner with Tony from Penta. So, we had a discussion with someone that said they, because they've dealt with their partner so many years, and they had an issue where they had to get equipment and they didn't have funding yet. They've supplied the equipment, they got the contract because of the relationship they had through trusting their partners and also being trustworthy. I think that's also a key
Reputation.
thing. Yeah, reputation.
Reputation is key.
You know, the fact that
It's
you've
earned.
got, you know,
It's earned,
the
yeah.
fact that you still run three of the gyms shows that, you know, you're not in here for the short time, but you're in for the long
it's
time.
what I
you
know. It's what I do and what I love. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, being you're sitting with Houghton, you know, this is a higher LSM, you know, market. How do you manage that member experience when they're coming in? Because they are, you know, with higher LSMs comes challenges, you know, especially with clientele. We know that they are a bit more demanding. So how do you guys manage that, you know, from a member point of view?
Well, basically, you know what the thing is. We got a great bunch of ladies here, our staff ladies, who welcome our members. And obviously, I mean, one thing I've learned being in the industry for so long is how to deal with people. If there ever is an issue that escalates, I will take it over and I'll make sure and I'll iron it out. So basically what we want is we want all our members to be happy, to come in and have a great training experience. There are, and anybody will tell you, once you start dealing with people, that you're going to have issues and you're going to have bumps and hiccups along the way. But each one you handle independently, and you just make sure, and also you've got to trust those around you, your staff. You've got to gear them to make sure that if they have an issue, this is the protocol they follow. And just to, you know, take the wind out of someone's sail, because obviously people who come in, you know, we have demanding clients. However, I mean, people have a right to be demanding if they're paying you a lot of money. You know what I mean? It is you know, within reason, obviously, but certain, you know, certain situations demand certain actions, and you know, between all of us, you know, if my sales ladies find that they're not handling the problem, then they just shift it over to me.
Okay,
and
cool.
I'll sort it out.
Yeah, that's but you know, when I walked in here, I must say that everybody was super friendly. They didn't know who I am, so it was super friendly, and that's key when it comes to.
Try to get that across to all our staff as well.
And it's key,
Yeah,
you know,
it's very
and it's
important.
cheap. It's
Yeah.
free.
It is free. It is free. No?
Yeah,
You've got to
understand.
smile. You put a smile on your face. You know what I mean? People don't want to see miserable people when they come to a gym.
Yes.
It's important. You've got to make sure that you fit the profile.
So, from, you know, and this is a question more directed to you. So you know, you had CrossFit Kaboom, and now you've got you didn't sell, you know, you still got CrossFit Kaboom, and now you've got Fitbar. When would you say to anyone that wants to expand, you know, maybe to a new gym or open up a new facility or getting to a new partnership, when do you make that decision, you know, with your current business? Because I've seen so many businesses fail because they want to expand too quickly.
Look,
So when do you think, if you need to give anyone advice of...
Look, the thing is that when the opportunity arises, you got to keep. I mean, you know, I believe in life. You got to try and you got to make inroads in whatever direction you want. And if it means opening a couple more facilities, however, if you've got a facility where you've got the right structures in place, and you feel and you can see that you know, if you've survived for 4 or 5 years, there's very little chance that you know, things will go belly up. So, but I would say to anybody is just to keep your eyes and ears peeled, and you know, just see, just bank on opportunity and see what comes your way. And also don't, you know, just also in the same light though, don't just go and dive into any venture that you can, because often people expose themselves to too much, and you know, it can bring everything down. So rather just do your homework and you know, take it from there.
And stick with what you know.
Exactly.
Don't go buy Bitcoin.
No. Exactly. I mean, you know what? We all do. You know that whole thing of 10,000 hours.
Yes.
Once you've done your 10,000 hours, once you've been in the industry for, you know what works and what doesn't work. And that's, you know, that's I think where where I think people maybe make the mistake. Also, you know, it's not to say that you won't be a success, but once again, I mean, speak to people in the industry, get a feeling. It's difficult today to open a business, based on the economic climate. But you know what? You can't allow these things to get into your head, because otherwise, you know, once you decide on something, it's full steam ahead.
So I've got the other day I spoke to someone and he asked me, when do you think it's a good time for me to open up a new business, you know? And I said, what you do is you go for a month on holiday and see how your business looks like after that month.
Exactly.
If your business is still healthy and it's growing and everything is okay and your members are still happy, then you can maybe look at something because you've got the right processes in place.
Yeah.
If your business is falling apart, don't. So that's and then you get a month holiday.
Good theory.
So you have to be hands-on.
Yeah, but
It's a key thing, structures.
Yes.
Structures. Once the structures are in place, everything develops from there.
But that, being, this, you said 27 years in the industry and you started your own business after 5 years. So that's now, let me do my math, 22 years, running businesses. Most probably that experience helped with building structures,
Did. You see what works and what doesn't work, and it definitely helps. But like I said to you, I mean, it's the ability, besides other thing, the ability to deal with people that is key. That I think for me is the biggest thing.
So let's say if you need to rewind, I don't know. I know that you guys are open for 6 weeks, but when does give me a more or less idea when the concept started? When you guys approached one of the first meeting, you guys, how long was that ago?
February?
No, longer. That was
No.
it was October, November last year.
Okay. So if you can go rewind until then and give yourself advice, what would you say if you need to go through this process again, knowing what you know now? What advice would you give yourself?
I would say, the key to any business is generating income. From what I've seen now when I opened CrossFit, for instance, when it comes to setting up debit orders, there's a lot more red tape that I wasn't aware of. So my point is that you need to get those, you need to sort out before you actually open. You need to make sure that all these things are in place, because you can't rely too heavily on the banking system or on any red tape or things that may hinder your income. So you got to make sure when you start up, you hit the floor running, and that is key.
No, that's good advice. I always say to people, yes, we deal with a lot of gyms and stuff, but my door is always open. If we've dealt with a lot of people that wants to open and then the debit order is not ready yet, and then there's fights there.
No,
so
it's a big thing.
Get your things ready, and everybody thinks of equipment first.
Yeah.
But
it's important
setup, but they don't think of that. That is a later thought. It's getting the systems in place, and it's a good thing to start in tandem with your setup and equipment, is to get those processes in place as well.
Look, I mean, you can't bring potential members into a gym with no equipment, So
Yes.
you got to make sure that, and it looks impressive.
Yes.
That when the initial walk-in and initial tour, you have to sell it to them. So you got to make sure that everything is set up.
That's key that you said there, that initial setup. I've seen, looking at both sides, I always say that the way a place looks, get your members here. The service keeps them here. Okay, so I've seen places that looks horrible, great service, looks horrible, low numbers. Then I've seen it the other way around. It looks amazing, horrible service, and they've got huge retention problems. So like you said there, make it look good, get your experience when the member walks in here, amazing. And you guys got that down, and then, after that, provide a great service. And this is with the Skill Athletic as well. This is something new. It's premium equipment that you guys got here with this side of stuff, and that makes a difference.
Absolutely. The skill line that we've got here is superb. So anybody who works on it for the first time, and any athlete will love it. And that's what sold us as well.
No, excellence is key. I always say to someone, if you take a £5 coin and you put a dirty old scratched one, and you take a beautiful, right out of the mint, and you give it to a 5-year-old and say pick one, we'll always pick the nice one. Value is the same, but you'll pick the.
People like new. We all do.
We like new things, So that is true. Even though you've got 50 shirts in your cupboard, you still want a new one.
Absolutely, you always go for the newest one.
Okay, cool. So just a few closing questions is, what tools, education, and experience gave you the tool to become the entrepreneur you are now? Then that's dual questions for both of you.
All right, so I'll go first. First of all, you need to get a tertiary education behind you. Secondly, you need to do time in the trenches. You need to develop relationships with people, and these are people who are leaders in industry. You've got to have role models. The moment you've got role models, you can see what you can see what one is capable of, but then also you got to trust yourself, and you got to just back yourself and go with it. Because if you got any doubt, it's not going to work. You just got to go with it.
Okay, cool. And what experiences in education and tools would you say that helped you being
definitely, yeah, having your education. But also, I just think it's from being even when you're at school, high school, university, is always being pushed to make your own money and do your own thing. I mean, even if it's as a young age that your parents made you do something to earn pocket money so that you could buy something, always having to work hard to be able to get a reward. I've always been an entrepreneur in the terms of always trying to do something to make money, whether it's something small, whether it's something big. Always trying to do stuff,
It's good you just said with me also, you with small kids and with my little boy coming, I said to them, he's not gonna, doesn't matter if dad, I don't have a Porsche yet, okay, yet, one, two, but it doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah, it's important.
He's not gonna just get stuff because dad has got the resources, so like you said, and that teaches people
responsibility and also being able to communicate with people, being able to negotiate with people, being able to buy and sell, whatever it is that you're doing. I think it's nice to be able to have those tools.
Okay, cool. Then this is actually a question that I want to ask you guys, and I actually thought about it today, and I thought I'm going to speak about it here, and I want to get a few people in the industry involved. How would you say, if you need to give us or anyone advice, or the fitness industry advice, is to serve our community? And I don't talk about our members as a community. I think we all in privileged positions of having education and all those kind of things. How would you say that if you need to quickly think of how we are able as fitness leaders and in the fitness industry are able to serve our community? There's something that's laid on my heart, and maybe you guys got an idea, and then we can pile up resources and we can maybe do something. So
I have that idea.
Look, I think. Sorry, Rechelle. I think if you're changing lives, it's a very important thing, and it's in the fitness industry we're all changing lives, and we must all realize that we're in the same game. I mean, often you get, and I see it a lot in this industry, you get some people who aren't prepared to share their knowledge, which is the wrong approach. You get far more exposure, and you make far more friends if you share your experiences with everybody, and we can all pull together, especially as smaller entities, to benefit each other. So it's something that everybody needs to look at.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll get in contact.
Welcome people into your facility, or even go out to their facilities and
so we'll
offer services.
In the near future, just watch the space. We'll do something as fitness entrepreneurs, or we'll get in contact. We'll do something and see how we can help the broader community. Okay, so that's the emotional question. The one here. What would you say? What was the most worthwhile investment you've made in your life? Doesn't have to be money. Can be any type of investment you've made in your own life that you said was the best investment you've ever made.
I can tell you what, from my side, and you're going to laugh at this, is actually when my mother said to me, you're not taking any days off school, you are going to school irrespective, but what she did for me, and I'm doing it with my kids as well, is that you create a work ethic that it doesn't, no matter how you're feeling, you get up and you go to work and you show up, and that's so important. So for me, it didn't cost me anything, but it's one of life lessons, and I'm passing it on to my kids as well. And it's a very important thing. You get up in the morning, you wake up, you show up, and you just deliver.
Yeah, that's
how it is.
And for you?
I don't know. I think just having my family.
Yeah.
Definitely. My husband, my kids, even my parents. Yeah, having that support structure is definitely my biggest.
That is a great investment, because it's like we're in the battlefield, being not just but it's hard being a female entrepreneur in the day and age that we are now, and having that structure where you can go back home and
definitely
tone down, just
even
tone
though
down.
you don't tone down because you go back to a crazy house.
Yeah. But it's different,
For a woman, I mean, I take off my hat to Rechelle and my wife Lisa as well. I mean, they run homes, they've got kids, and they arrive at work and they make things happen, which is, it's a lot of women out there aren't prepared to do it, so it's a big thing.
So what would you say, was if we take your habits and behaviors that you've guys got that most improve your life.
Sure.
The fact that you can wake up at 3:30, I think it's one of them.
I'm very, well look, my wife's going to laugh at this, but I am extremely routine. I eat the same thing at the same time every day. I will go to the same restaurants and eat the same food because I know what I'm getting. So for me, I'm a routine junkie. It works for me. I've got structure in my life. So much so that it's difficult for me to change. But I am a Sagittarian, so they say that Sagittarians hate change. But yeah, that for me is key. I mean, I'm happy within my world. And, the change is a good thing sometimes. And, like starting up this business for the first 21, 22 days, just finding your feet, being upstairs, downstairs, it was difficult. It was challenging.
Okay, cool. And what would you say?
Well, I don't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but
12 o'clock.
I wake up also early every morning. I like to get my days going. I don't like to sleep in. And then for me, it's more about balance. Like I do enjoy healthy foods, but I also like, enjoying a good meal out, enjoying a pasta, whatever it is. I enjoy trying different meals. I'm more about,
balance.
About balance. I don't know. I'm sometimes a little bit too much, the bad things, I guess, too much red wine. But generally, I try and find a balance, which is good.
I honestly believe that there's no such thing as too much red wine.
Okay.
I'm joking. So no, that's for me a little vice that I've got is red wine.
Okay.
And my wife hates it because now I'm opening up a bottle of wine and she can't have it because she's pregnant and
it's the worst. And I had like 2.5 years of solid torture being pregnant and having my kids with no wine. But
Okay, cool. Last question that I've got for you guys is if you've got a smart young entrepreneur that gets in this or want to get into this industry, what advice would you give any young, or not just entrepreneur, but any youngster that wants to get into the fitness game?
Sure, it's a difficult nut to crack. I just think get as much experience as you can from somebody and speak to as many people as you can and get as much advice from those who've been there, done it, and that I think is key. Get somebody to guide you. Obviously, if you've got financial backing, great. However, if you're putting your own money, into the mix, which you should, because I feel that you work harder when you do. Just surround yourself with people that can give you valuable advice. It is a difficult market to crack. I see it now with trainers trying to get into to get clients and that kind of thing. But just back yourself and go with it.
Yeah, you just got into this, so you maybe got a fresher.
I just think if it's a young entrepreneur trying to get specifically into the fitness industry, maybe not as a personal trainer, but trying to be in the business, it's good to try and work with the right people and get experience. I think experience is a big up, and then if you can afford to try and study something in that industry, then that's always a bonus. And if you can't, then just try and get into, working in the industry so that you can gain as much experience as possible.
But you guys said as key is get into the industry first, get experience first.
Do time in the trenches.
Find the niche, then a few years later, don't rush it.
Definitely.
Don't rush it. So if a new member wants to, so you've got the hotel side, but others, can anyone outside join Fitbar?
Absolutely.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, so they can. So it's not just for the hotel,
no.
But then as a member you get all the facilities here.
Yes.
Okay, so for anyone there, please.
We have got a limited. We have got. We don't want to have too many members. So once we've reached our cap amount, then we won't be signing up any new members. But for now, it is open up to the public to come and join.
Okay, fantastic. So what I will do, I'll link all your social pages, websites, all those kind of stuff in the comment. We just want to say thank you. And before, I just want to say, you can see they've been so nice. I didn't even know what they gave me yet. This is a black box.
There's a water bottle in there.
This is a water bottle. Okay, cool. I need that. And it's a Fitbar water bottle. So this is and a towel. Look at that. How cool is that? So this is what you call, hospitality. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the opportunity to chat with you. And
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, let's get
Really
this.
appreciate it.
Now soon you'll see a Fitbar around every corner. It's not gonna be like a Coke stand. It's gonna be a Fitbar.